places that these people at the art galleries is really be standing up and looking at for all this time. This video is for people who have questions. Questions like, what is art? Why is art important? Why do people take so long to look at one simple picture? Today, when we go through the gallery, we're going to get a more in-depth look into the meanings behind the art, the techniques, the styles, and the context that brings everything together as we celebrate the life and work of Leandro Soto. Another thing that I want to highlight about art is not always about the super technical. It is about...
Yo, what is air coffee? Because
getting Russell in front of the camera is art in itself. Getting Russell in front of the camera is art in itself. But something that I want to like open up a lot of people to is the fact that art at the end of the day is about how you feel after you look at it. So you might not even know what the artist was trying to do. You might not even have all the detailed history. So I'm gonna ask Deandra what she feels when she looks at this piece.
Okay, well, first of all, this piece is called A Midsummer Night's Dream in St. George. I am a proud resident of St. George. Anybody that has seen my visual artwork, I think that does rep LA.
Right,
However, even in that, like looking at this piece, I don't see that. It's a beautiful work. This is honestly one of the pieces that like I have not spent a lot of time with, and I'm kind of excited for my next 3 weeks, like doing the gallery run, because I kind of get to acquaint myself with each of the artwork. This piece, I really enjoy how there is a very distinct area of like darkness and light, even though it's not just flat out black and white. Like the lightness is represented by like super pale yellows and like super pale greens. When Dr. Hadchity and I were hanging the works, like we kind of spoke to the almost vaginal shape that we have with this opening. So it kind of gives me that, and then we see that motif repeated. And I believe Dr. Hadchity had told me an anecdote where somebody made that that observation, and Leandro Soto was most shocked because that was not his intention. So kind of to go back to your initial point that art is subjective and it's not necessarily what the artist paints that you're gonna see.
So when she says that art is subjective, like I heard that before, and it's just like one of those terms that's like fly over my head, like yeah, it's subjective. What does that mean? It just means that depending on who's viewing it, you get different meanings from it. It's not one set meaning. Same as I was saying with the other Egyptian painting, it was like, this is a keyhole. Somebody's like, this is not a keyhole. The same way she's saying that multiple people saw something like a similar shape of a female form. He didn't intend that. So that's it from Deandra today. She's going to go off and she's going to interact or go home. And then we're going to go over to Dr. Hadchity or Dr. Hume, where they would give us their input into the art scene. I'm here with Dr. Yanique Hume, who is the head of the Department of Cultural Studies. She is one of the coordinators for this event today, and you knew Leandro personally, and you just told me that he made this beautiful dress that you see here. Can you tell me a little bit more about your personal experience with him? We're going to delve into art a little later, but tell me about your personal experience with Leandro.
I first met Leandro in 2009, probably 2 weeks after he arrived in Barbados. He invited me for coffee, and I had to oblige a Cuban espresso known as a cafecito. So I had, at that time he was living in Prospect, and there was such a beauty in his home. There was all of the elements. It had lanterns, the lights, the sounds, lots of wind chimes. And he says, I have an exhibition I'm working on, and I want you to perform. And I'm like, oh. And his very first exhibit that he did in a Awepo gallery, when Juliana Innes was running a Awepo at the Crane, he did his first exhibition. I bought a first piece, a Fiofo.
Which one? This one over here?
The one on this wall, a Fiofo from that exhibition. And it was just a stupendous experience of dancing with him, because he really was about the ways in which all of the arts come together. And how to express the intimacy of movement and visual. And he painted on my whole body, so my body became his canvas.
Ah, so like performance art.
So it's performing arts.
Okay,
performance arts,
wonderful.
for sure.
What drew you to that piece and you made you think, I need to buy this?
That piece, it was really the blue and orange, that combination, the hot and the cold, they stand as polar opposites on the color wheel, but they carry such energy. And usually when we look at the concept of yin and yang or tai chi as a balancing, we often see it as black and white.
Yeah.
And so to bring such vibrant colors of fire and water, for example, hot and cool, and those elements really speaking to our reality as Caribbean people. And he also included what's known as the ireme or the abacoa figures, and with the coffee cup and the cafetera. So there, and it has a little drum. So these are figures that are part of Cuban folklore and part of, I'm very close to Cuba. I have family who lived there and spent 5 years living there as well. So it's a space that's very dear to my heart. So I wanted a piece that was able to bring
all of that together.
Wonderful.
Right. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm just in
This
awe.
is Ochun Olode. I don't know if you could make out the woman who is here sitting.
No.
Her arms. These are her lips. This is her nose. She's sitting like
Oh
this.
yes, I'm
looking up
seeing
in
it
the
now.
ceiling. Yes, you see?
You know, I would have never noticed that until
That's
you
the beauty
said.
of his work. If you look, most of his work, there's some kind of embedded other image that is
Imagery.
there. So you see Oshun's outline. There's another one that's owned by another person who collects Leandro's work, but he has since moved, where Oshun is like this. And you see her backside, the silhouette of her body. It's really beautiful.
Well, that takes an amazing talent to combine.
It's layers. Like if you would see his original work, you would just be seeing lines, and then from lines and lines and more lines and more lines, he begins to get the kind of the intricacies of these worlds, the all-seeing eye.
This is wonderful. Well, thank you for speaking with us today.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. I hope you have a
Thank you
nice
so much.
I'm Dr. Therese Hadchity. I'm a part-time lecturer in cultural studies and in the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts here at UWI.
You're the curator also of this showcase today.
Yes, I am.
Can you speak to me a little bit about why you chose certain pieces or how you came about to this final result?
I didn't actually choose the pieces because this is a commemorative exhibition, and we have borrowed from very dear and close friends of Leandro to put together an exhibition. But there was, in fact, exactly the right amount of work available to make an exhibition that was sufficiently representative of what he was about.
Okay. One thing I would love to know is just your take on his spirituality in his work, or the concept of spirituality in his work, and how that, I don't know, has an effect on art in the Caribbean.
Okay, that's a big question. So Leandro traveled the world, and he went to he went to the Far East, he went to Africa, he was obviously attached to the Caribbean and Latin America. And what was really interesting to him was all the mythologies and spiritual systems across the world that he encountered. What was interesting to him was the similarities, the archetypes, the figures and concepts that were shared between different
all
cultures.
the culture.
So when you have this this shamanic figure that pops up in various spiritual systems, it means something that people across the world have needed to create such a figure. And so that is what carries through. And in this exhibition, you will see a representation that has connotations of Egypt. You will see India. You will see Afro-Caribbean culture. You will see African culture. And so these are the things that really interested him. What unifies us as mankind at large.
Thank you so much. That's all I had to ask.
Oh, okay.
And that's it from me, Melissa, and Capital Media here at University of the West Indies, EBCCI KFL campus, and a tribute to Leandro Soto. I hope that this was an experience and this video was able to enlighten you a little bit more about art and make you feel a little bit more informed about what art is, or Caribbean art, or just art in general. Anyways guys, Capital Media signing out.